Hello, everyone. It's nice to meet, Amit, Mr. BNP, Troy, and everyone over here. I would like to introduce Amit. Amit is the CEO of Awake, based out of California, and Amit has developed many new technologies in his, very illustrious career that he had for so many years. And I would like to ask Amit to say a few words on Awake, what it is all about, and introduce Mr. BNP to everybody over here. And over to you, Amit.
Thank you very much, Vimal. Really nice to have you on this call, Mr. BNP, and excited to talk again about what we are doing and we are going to do together. So, as Vimal said, I've been fortunately or unfortunately responsible for much of the, big tech, AI, fintech based, manipulation of the universe that's happened in the last 20 years, through all the major social media and sort of e-commerce platforms that have existed in the valley and everywhere else, because the goal of these AIs is to help customers make more money, which means we sell more things to, consumers. And we do it through a lot of algorithms that, engage them in various ways and essentially, convert them into recurring buyers. And there's a lot of talk that's happened in the last, 2 years or so. If you've seen the Netflix documentary, A Social Dilemma or The Social Dilemma, they talk about this, how Facebook is manipulating, people and all that stuff. So
Right.
fortunately or unfortunately, I've contributed to that type of AI over the years. We were powering pretty much everyone that wasn't Amazon at one point, eBay, Groupon, Staples, you name it. And so we sold that company to Staples in 2013, and I was there for about a year. And then I left to start Quintype, which is, a very large media tech platform that is still operating today, and has close to, I don't know the numbers now, but it's very significant. Hundreds of millions of, viewers and shoppers, if you call it that, audiences across their customers. And so that's been my trajectory and career over the last, 10, 15 years in the Valley. And then about a year and a half ago, as I've been, explaining it, how Awake started, went through a whole phase of, really frankly thinking about what the world is and how it should be, and what my role in that world is. And I mean, I rediscovered, if you will, in some sense of the word, my own roots, from where I grew up in India and, everything else, where I was totally a scientist and, wanting to be like a, engineer and, wanting to come here and do all these things. And now really
Correct.
having gone through it, felt totally, unraveled and not okay with how things were, and needed to fix it, and having contributed to it, Awake was formed because I knew how to fix it, how to fix the internet problems and the big tech problems and all the, 2 billion people who are unemployed today. And, all that stuff can be fixed because the internet enables reality. It enables the abundance, that we are as a world. There is no need for anything to be this way. We can totally make it an efficient, digital universe, and we can solve all the problems of society and all these big tech problems and everything at one shot. It's doable. And that was the insight with which Awake started, because we've caused the problems. And so therefore we know how to fix it. So that's very, very brief about me. I know it's a little bit abstract. I'll stop talking. I'll let others talk. But we'll go through how we're going to fix the internet, what it means when the internet network of all networks suddenly is unleashed and everyone is able to make the promise of the original internet happen suddenly, where everyone is connected to everybody else, where everyone is able to trade with everyone else without friction in a borderless economy with real or crypto dollars or regular money or anything at all. Everything is suddenly possible in this new world you will see. And that transforms society and the world. And that's, of course, a huge wealth making opportunity for everyone that, sees it and then acts upon it, you know. So that's a little bit about Awake and about myself. And we are an AI fintech platform.
Good. Fantastic.
Thank you very much, Amit. So, I would request Mr. BNP to, give us his view and perception of the world, what is happening presently, and the digital world and the technology world. How he perceives it, having, being a businessman across a global businessman, and I'm sure your perspective would be very, very useful for us to shape Awake for the future.
Sure. Thank you, Vimalji. And I'm quite happy to join my distinguished members here. And I'm glad Amit has given me this opportunity to speak on this very, very backbone lifeline right now, digital economy. So I would like to say a few things. When I started my first job, G Capital, in 1999. And after that, you see, this last 20 years back, this digital economy started 2001. Okay. And now if you see the scale of digital economy, which has gone many-fold, like it is everything based on, mainly this last 1.5 year, 2 years, it is everything based on digitally, e-business, e-commerce. Entire backbone of business is right now based out of digital economy. And I'll give you some few facts. In US, for example, it is the physical economy is just 0.78%, whereas digital economy is 3 trillion. Okay, many times, multiple times of GDP of US. So the major 4 sectors where fundamentally every business and economy stands, like the mainly economy, transport, digital transport network, digital energy network, digital health network, digital manufacturing network, all are connected with this digital economy. And these are participating entirely in global platform. So we as Awake, which I'm going very glad and happy to join as an investor, I'm going to create that model, which is going to give us such a huge scope to participate with this already, doing so well. And as you have been witnessing, that e-commerce, e-business, as I said right now, the digital health is a vast networking based out of decentralizing of datas. Okay, so these are the, now if you see the 5G which is being launched, which is going to help like entire more manifold. So just imagine how much time it is going to grow. Social media, what we are doing right now through all these are based out of digital, and these are making money. Back end people who are being engaged, even the human resources are connected. So
True.
The virtual world is virtually running the show right now, and which is really remarkable. And we are glad that Amit has brought in connected globally everyone. And in fact, me as a private equity investor, I have already been invested in multiple digital currencies and other digital format based industries in UK. And my listed company, in fact, my fintech company, my London Stock Exchange listed company is based out of this background of digital economy. So basically, these are the few points, and which are the productivity. Main
True.
digital productivity is so high, whereas if you see manufacturing and physical economy, the comparison is very, very low. physical economy has taken a hit right now globally,
Yes.
which is now giving a huge, not only push, just imagine in last 20 years, if we have made to this far, how much it is going to go. Okay. So I think this is the brief note which I would like to give here. And
Yeah.
then about Awake, then we can talk.
Like what you said, sir, just to give you an example in India, we have a company called Flipkart. Right now, they may not still
Yeah.
be above EBITDA, but in just 10 years' time, they started as a book lending, small little e-commerce site. And, that time we had only 3G and stuff like that. And links were not there, nothing was there. People were hiring books or buying books on a Flipkart. Just a year ago, maybe 7 months, actually a year ago, Walmart, invests $18 billion for 49% stake in Flipkart. Now in India, in 10 years' time, this kind of, valuation or, growth on the e-commerce front has not seen. Second thing is with the pandemic that's come in, the digital economy and with large organizations like Facebook and various other companies tying up with, business leaders like, Jio and Reliance Technology in India and globally, all the developing countries will start, growing very fast through this digital economy. So that is the second part. And in this whole, scheme of things, Amit keeps saying, which I would like, Naveen to talk a little bit about ShopType also. Amit keeps saying, that when you look at internet, it is Google, it is Facebook. If you ask any, in Hindi, we say Aam Aadmi or an ordinary person, internet, what is internet? He says, Google, Facebook. They don't know that internet was a democratic, platform that anybody could use and everybody could build. But yes, Google, Facebook, all of them have done amazing work. They've done a lot of efforts. But the whole new world, what Amit was saying, is about the shop type back in fintech, which enables the people who created the platforms, who created the social media platforms to earn. Naveen, would you like to say a few words on this?
Yeah, sure. I think a very similar approach, right? I mean, the way we're taking for shop type, and in fact, when we looked at Awake, and the vision for Awake was like a one-click business approach, right? So anybody who comes onto the platform with just one click, we're enabling them to go online, go digital. From previously a physical world. I think to that point, we've created an entire ecosystem where we have different protocols. Like ShopType is a protocol that enables the e-commerce layer. Awake Money is a protocol that takes the money, that handles all the money layer. Then we have the awake.me, which is like an authentication protocol like across the network that brings in people that we're able to understand what their KYC levels are. So this is essentially transforming that non-digital economy, folks. I mean, these are all just people. They were all performing very well in the non-digital world. But then, as you mentioned, Vishnath, the productivity was so low, right, when compared to the digital world. And now we're enabling a completely digital experience for anybody to come online, transform themselves into a completely digital world where productivity increases manyfold. And like we said, our overall goal is just literally come onto our platform with one click. We give you the entire structure for you to come create a business, right from creating your domain name to all the way to an exit. Actually, that's what AwakeX is. So I think that's the beauty of Awake, right? Where how we're transitioning these non-digital entities to a digital layer and making it very easy for them to live and breathe and actually grow in that digital space.
Wonderful. Also, Amit, maybe you could throw a few the light on, how the whole network, internet, the network of networks, globally is one piece. You keep saying it is one. It is just one ledger,
Right.
one piece. What do you mean by that? If you could explain to Mr. BNP, and then maybe Troy could come in with a little bit of thoughts on the, the financial side of, the whole thing, a little bit of, thoughts on that. So,
Yeah.
Amit,
So let's go back to what is the internet. People have to understand that there is nothing called the internet today that they are accessing. They're accessing different websites and they're accessing Facebook and TikTok and things like that. And that's what they mean normally when people say, I'm on the internet. I check my Facebook, I check email, there's like a few things I do. What else is it that you do? There's only a few things. So what is it that enables these things? That's the internet, which is the underlying electricity that runs all the appliances that we are using. I use Facebook as an appliance, appliance, application, appliance, In fact, if you put hardware appliance, it becomes an app, in a box. If you Google in a box, you can actually get a server, which you can install. But so app, appliance. So what is it that runs these appliances? The electricity. You can't see it, but it is the power that moves things physically. Electricity does that, you see. And there is an analogy which I'm drawing, which we talk about, in the world, all of us connected. What is it that moves us to do anything as individuals? In this universe, what moves us, keeping aside the human needs, what moves us is the profit motive. The incentives moves us.
Yeah.
And that's the invisible hand, the force that moves the world, the profit motive. I'll make some money, That's the idea that moves us in the morning, unfortunately or fortunately. It is a requirement also. You need to eat, so there is a basic need of money. And then there is the aspirational need for money, right? But in both cases, it is driven by a desire. That is the invisible hand that moves us. And Facebook has tapped into that by, tweaking your consciousness, what you think. And you will suddenly see messages about your whatever, friends, and, they'll be eating a very perfect dinner somewhere. And, you feel like you should do it too. And then everybody's advertising and then you're spending money, right? And then you're, of course, depressed because it doesn't give you anything, really. So that's the whole cycle that you're stuck in. But it's the profit motive. And the profit is good in the sense that it gets us out of bed, right? Otherwise, nothing will happen. You'll get socialism, which is really, really bad, right? So what is it that we're doing here? We're reflecting the reality of the world, which is this connectedness that moves us, the fact that we can make money together.
Yeah.
That's what moves us. That's the universe. That's all the people. If you can't connect with them, they might as well not exist. Well, what is the meaning of that? These are the people that are not there, right? It's only if you can connect to them, if they exist for you, right? So we are the internet itself. The fact that we're all connected is called the internetwork of all networks. Any network, something connects all networks. Whether it's a Facebook or a Google or any other network, there is something that connects all these networks, right? That's what you call the internetwork, right? The internet. But that internet is today just a word because it's the collection of all these guys that we call the internet, right? The collection. So if you add up all the appliances, we're saying that's the internet, but that's not true. There is even if you remove all these guys, there is still the internet. You see? So we are going back to the very source of digitization, which is the very internet layer where everything connects. And electricity is what enables all the appliances to function. And we are directly connecting at that layer and transforming the reality over there. Today, people think these are these platforms are reality. Not at all true. If I show you a way where you don't have to pay Facebook and show you a way to directly connect, will you not go there and do it? Of course you will. And that's fundamentally all we have done. We have unraveled the entire thing.
Yeah.
Directly at the source of the internet. So we can see through the entire network of networks, through Facebook, through Google, through everybody, because we are going back to the underlying force which connects those guys, which is all the people that are connected through the actual internet, the actual thing, the electricity itself. You see? So that's how we get around it. We simply bypass the whole thing and go back to basics. Right? So whether it's Netflix or it's Google or it's this or it's that, if you log into Awake, that's it, finished. You're actually part of the new economy, finished. Nothing else has to happen. Let me quickly share my screen and show you what I mean by this in the grand scheme of things, right? And you should be able to see this. And this is the new world, where everything connects to everything else through Awake's protocols. And it's one click. And if you're a seller, you suddenly start making 10 times, 100 times more, because suddenly you're connected to everybody who can now make money for you by making money for themselves. That's simple, right? So it's the ultimate sharing economy, where the economy itself is shared on this internetwork of networks, which is called the internet, right? And we settle the transactions on our ledger, which is the side effect that comes out of connecting everyone. The fact that you have a ledger, which is really called the karma, or the karma ledger in Hindi, karma, apna jo karma hota hai na, that karma we are tracking. All the actions of everybody on all networks are being tracked by us. So we're the ultimate data collecting entity, where we are literally putting a straw into the internet and draining out data and money out of it. Money, why? Because all the cash flow that is moves because of profit motive. There is a margin there. And we take a part of that margin. Finished. Every transaction in the universe.
Good.
Wonderful.
So
BNPG, I was just reading an article. India, before the pandemic, had 55 crore internet users, and 7% does e-commerce on that. Now that has gone up by 100 million people more. That is 65 crores. That means 10 crores in a span of 8 months of internet users. And the e-commerce usage has gone from 7% to 9%. Now this 9% is going to, as per, if you would have heard the speeches of, all the big industrialists, this 9% of, e-commerce, users in India is going to grow to 20% in a span of, 2 years. And then to 40% in the span of 3 years. So from 20 to 40 will be a double jump in span of 1 year. So if a Flipkart, has gone for $18 billion, with just 6% of e-commerce usage, you can imagine what can happen on a larger base and a larger percentage of US. This will be the case in most of the developing and, developed countries. And especially with 5G coming in.
Yeah.
Just want to add to what you're saying there, because you mentioned numbers. If you just look at Reliance Jio and what Jio has done in the last, few months, okay, good or bad, everybody has hiccups, so forget about that part. But they've taken about $11 billion in funding from guess who? From Facebook and Google for most part.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Are you kidding me? I mean, is this what is called Atmanirbhar?
This successfully WhatsApp e-commerce.
I mean, it's a total sellout, right? It's like, this is not Atmanirbhar at all. I mean, you're basically selling out to I'm an American citizen now, so I'm not, it's great, good, thank you. But what am I supposed to say, right? This is not Atmanirbhar, right? So what I'm talking about is, you look over here, if you can see my screen, Reliance Jio and Shopify and Amazon. Reliance Jio also is just a platform, an internet platform that connects to the internet, you see. We sit on top of everything. This is a fundamental shift. It does not matter how much money you have, because the internet doesn't care. The internet doesn't care how big your network is. It only cares about liquidity and how much money am I making for the people connected to you. Right? And if you're the greediest person on the block, you will be the last one people come to. Right? It's very simple. This is a fundamental flip. So it's literally over now for them. It's like Bitcoin, Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So basically the positive outcome, the positive social outcome is so big, and the positive productivity. So that's why we have to run and ride with the flow as Awake. So because those physical economies productivity is so less, here we have very high, this web economy, internet economy, digital economy, this positive outcome is so big. How just the examples of the company which you have taken and Vimalji has taken, so they are many-fold made money in this during this last few month and last few years. So that's where Awake has now come in, where it will fulfill the gap where people are lacking those connectivity. Okay.
Absolutely.
So that's the vision which I'm looking at, to put money under which, because of the positive, right now outcome which we all in globally we are getting, those who are participating, everything is digital now. Okay, so that's really the main key point, which is going to give us the revenue, even the social cause, whatever we are going to earn, we are going to also have the social responsibility to look at in whichever country we participate, and which all my businesses have been doing and undertaking lots of underprivileged social issues which I have been doing, for many years. So this would be really also we can help them to grow through this connection. Okay.
100%.
So, that's the whole. I think the background which we should keep that as a baseline.
If I can add one thing there, so I started writing about Awake and, talking about what we will do in March of 2019, when the company was formed and all that. And back then the vision was that we needed to create in the coming decade, which is this 2020 to 2030, I thought we would need to create 100 million new jobs because of climate change and AI. This was my concern, not knowing that obviously in 2020, the pandemic would happen, and what was expected to happen in digitization in maybe 5 to 10 years was forced to happen in like 3 months, and suddenly the job situation is we need to create 1 billion jobs now in the next decade, and probably there's 100 million jobs in the next 2 years to make sure that there's no civil war, in America and everywhere else, because people need jobs. I mean, people need to eat. It's not even about making money in the grand scheme of things right now, So we're literally going to put people back to work, 100 million people or 500 million people through the internet, one click, start making money, connect and make. Yeah. So that's the goal, very fast. We have to go fast,
So, Troy, would you like to say a few words on your perception of what it is, and then maybe we could ask BNPG to just say a few words, and then we could conclude the discussion.
Sure. So, good day, gentlemen. Let me run through a couple of things. Let me share my screen with you briefly as a matter of just discussion points. Let me go back here. Pardon me. So Amit has talked about
sharing right now. We are not.
Yeah, I need to switch screens. Amit has talked about a network of networks, right? And that's really what we're doing. We're building a network of networks. So I want to try to draw for you kind of a picture of what that looks like. And I want to do it in two different areas. Let me talk about Awake. So Awake is a networks of companies, all providing the services that we talked about earlier. So we refer to Awake as a group of companies, but Awake VC, which stands for value co-creation, but also represents maybe a venture or a private equity type of model. And why Awake? The PE and VC industries need to move up the value addition scale. So if you think of Awake and its collection of companies all benefiting from Awake VC, and what Awake VC does is that it provides platforms for the usage of the companies within the ecosystem. So I'm going to switch between a couple of screens here. Awake VC here, as you can see represented right here in the middle. And then Awake, it provides Awake Market, which we commonly call shop type. That is a commerce facilitation layer for anyone choosing to participate in our ecosystem. We have Awake Money platform, which is our bank facilitation platform. We are not a bank, but we are providing a record keeping system, if you will. And then Awake X, which is capital facilitation. So Awake VC exists to provide value co-creation through its platforms of Awake Market, Awake Money, and Awake X to the entities that are within the ecosystem. So I'm going to switch back and forth between these. So think of Awake VC as a Berkshire Hathaway and kind of a Y Combinator together. We will deeply invest in the value of great organizations, but we will also incubate great organizations as we go forward. So we're trying to enable this modern consumption economy, right? A co-creation of interconnected tech platforms enabling communities and markets for value-added goods and services. This is what it boils down to, creating millions of entrepreneurs aggregating high growth cash flows. So how do we do that? It's a massive, ambitious goal. Well, we seamlessly are interconnected through marketplaces and supply chains. We use a common cloud infrastructure, common fintech, common data analytics and an AI infrastructure, a common blockchain infrastructure for that record-keeping component, common digital media and audience engineering infrastructure. Are we communicating our value system back through that network? And then an open tangle, as we call it, network of networks, the line of sight to 1 billion shoppers in the next couple of years. And then we bring this commerce facilitation and capital facilitation from Main Street to Wall Street. So in doing this, we're focusing here again, data as a driven learning organization as a service, awake compact data analytics for real-time KPIs. We're utilizing through sales across this network what amounts to being a live analytics, right? And then at the same time, for those people entering the marketplace and growing their company through this commerce facilitation that are seeking an exit, we will utilize our capital facilitation, which is again, using those tools to aggregate data so that we understand what investors would want to purchase or investors would like to invest in the future to keep the ecosystem going. So we bring this strategy and product road mapping and go-to-market product fit powered by the Awake ecosystem in the cloud. And all of the entrepreneurs bring their respective excellence, right? Their domain, their operational capacities. So what does that look like, right? There's two things I want to show you. So right here, if you'll look at this slide, we see that shoppers in any given marketplace across the internet, consumers, which are, I think we've all mentioned, growing in demand significantly, right, are driven by media, right? They're driven by media. When they see advertisements, when they see a Facebook post or a publishing or interconnect to another network online, generally that purchase is facilitated through media, right? But that media can also be used in our case by co-sellers, right? We can become the network. We become the promoter of a good or a service. We also become a sharer, right? Like many people share an Amazon review or something of that sort. Those co-sellers empower the sellers of product, your e-commerce store owners, your individuals that are purchasing online or running a small store, who in essence provide the product fit for the vendors, right? So we look at these and we have media, we have the market, which is your sellers and your co-sellers. We have your supplier layer. Then we provide our Awake money layer. This is where the money is facilitated across the platform. Then we can take and look into that live data, that live analytics of data-driven sales information that can be pushed back out into a dashboard that allows us to identify which are those best performing companies, right? How does private equity today identify the best companies in the world? They do a lot of research. They do a lot of digging. What if you had a pipeline of live data analytics into sales and sales trends and e-commerce trends and which companies have the better balance sheets, right? Real time, right? Then we have capital markets that would enter the picture, and then secondary markets or tradable marketplace. That's through AwakeX. Then on top of that all, we have just an ever-existing co-venture marketplace that continues to cycle through all of these layers. So I'll show you what that looks like in practical application. Awake VC, let me give you this in essence. Awake VC empowers through its technology, the Awake markets, the ability for us to facilitate commerce across the board. How do we facilitate commerce? Well, take an example of a co-working space or a media space or any other individual entity, right?
Take Flora, which is all about, beautiful young grocery stores that are, local produce, urban farming, community kitchens, enabling the farmers and the, whole eating healthy and organic foods and knowing where your food comes from, who made it, that entire chain, right? Take that as an example.
Okay. So So let's do this. We'll take CoFlora as the example, right? A young a company that provides a market network for local organic grocers, for local independent grocers, for backyard farm to table type restaurants and things of that sort. CoFlora becomes a network of individuals invested in or purchasing around this concept of CoFlora, right? A co-investment network, a co-purchasing network of these small or micro-based foods businesses. So what do we have?
It would go
here?
from, sorry, I'll just add here. It'll go from B to B to C, supply chain all the way from, the growers to the brands that, come in, to the distributors that move it from, even a local farm, say 20, 30, 40, 50 miles out of the city to here, to, the actual retailers that actually make it happen, or online, drop shipping it to your subscription-based commerce. And it also connects to your media, all about the local social media, about, eating healthy and local events and, all these fancy dinners and things that you could do, or even regular foods that you could do. I mean, it's the entire supply chain up and down the value stack for the businesses of local eating and local produce, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we pick any supply chain and pick it apart, take the network of networks apart, right? And reassemble that on the digital chain. And we create value by platformizing it and giving it a beautiful brand name like CoFlora, which we own and license and bring the brand equity for, just like, dozens of brands that we are creating. So it becomes a holistic value co-creation engine when we do it and others franchise or license it.
Thank you,
That's
Amit.
right.
And BNPG, just a few words over here. You really deep dived into this for the last 7 months. I understand.
Right.
Usually, I don't know how, you have been a big investor in many, many different industries and projects. 7, 8 months, I saw that, you were studying it, going through it. I think you're very, very well connected and involved in the digital economy. I think also in crypto and other things. Maybe if you could say a few words before we can conclude our discussion on that part, it will be wonderful, sir.
Sure. Well, you see, it has been for last, as you said, 6, 7 months. I have been deeply following Amit's all the literature, and that's why, without knowing the substance, as you know, as an investor's point of view, you cannot put any single penny. So I saw, since I already told you that I'm already involved in this kind of products and platforms earlier, and it is doing well. And this is little more bigger platform, which is going to be, and which was really good. And the way meticulously Amit has designed with his all the team members like you and Troy and other names, which so I think that has given me a quite a positive outlook about this, and that's why it's not about I know how to make a multiply of money, and I have my strong connections which I'm going to put forward the moment I'm going to put the first transfer into Awake, and as I have been telling you, and I'm going to add more products. So what I am looking at, I have seen globally right now, this is the right time to join and make this one of the biggest digital product. And that can happen because all the infrastructures are interconnected, and it is self-moving. All we need to do is monitor it correctly, place it correctly at the right time. We should reach at the right place. So these are the few points which I think the structure which Troy has just now described and Amit has been telling me about those connectivity, one to each other, So those are the main backbone going to be. The other day we discussed about Bitcoins, which I'm big time doing, and which is really so overwhelming. It is being now applied for regulations, and it is doing so well. Similarly, the e-commerce, spirit, sports. So if you see my profile, Chimera in London has been doing phenomenally well, and I'm manufacturing the apparels which I'm selling online. Apparels for the swimming, the national swimming team of Great Britain.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
all.
Mm-hmm.
So where I am the key investor, I'm the main major share investor. So
Wow.
like that, it has been there anyway since I've been doing. So this, as I said, I'm going to make that very big, and which we are going to connect with my all other products which I'm doing.
Got
At
it.
the same time,
So we could literally start with all your things. We could literally connect everything that you have as a
correct.
key initiative. I mean, right away, without even, I mean, while we do other stuff, we can just start wiring everything you have.
Correct.
That's
So
fantastic.
the main backbone would be the mechanism, how we are going to make it.
Yeah.
Okay. So those structure, those things we have to be very sharp to put forward and understand the points. And just as I was telling you on my our last call about not to ride with any kind of speculation. We have to be very grounded and see the numbers at our own. And I'm sure,
Correct.
and I can see that it is definitely that nobody can stop it. So the awake has awakened. That's I can say. And
Thank you very much for that. If I can
A
add
few
one thing to
concluding
what
words
you
from
said,
you, Amit, and let's close.
yeah, I want to add to what BNP sir just said. You see, one of the things that made me create the system the way it is I lost a lot of money from investing. And the joke was, you make money as an entrepreneur and you lose it as an angel. Because people, that's why this picture, the picture is of this picture, is of an angel or for an angel. People like you who invest in people like me, and if I invest in others, unless you have a system that can drive the data for everything that you're doing as a company, I guarantee you that you cannot make money in today's world. Because somebody else who has better data than you will kill it.
Correct.
So we have to build this system. That's what the requirement was.
Yeah, I'll give you a few example. Why I have made off late good money because of not only my versatile investment into all many major sectors, multiple sectors, but I make them earn money if I see that they are going to lose in the verge of, because you see we are anyway being an ex-banker and attorney, little bit education we have, which we can see who is doing and who is fooling around. Okay, so those a good eye on things, the mechanism which I have developed, that I make them earn, and the connections which I introduce to my all the various platforms, and I interconnect with those.
Yeah.
So that any of the ventures, it is small or big, nobody, at least something they're making, and it is if not flourishing, but it's not negative.
Correct.
So you can't.
Absolutely. So that's what, sir. This is the economic system that we have created. Like you said, once you kickstart the initial lever, or the liquidity injection in an economic terms, you create quantitative easing. You print some money, right? Or you issue a token. I mean, you can do anything you want. You can issue a coin, but we want to stay very grounded, like you said. Regular cash, regular business. Main Street. Wall Street is automatic. We fix Main Street.
Very high and then grow. I'm
Yes.
sure, you see, I can see, and I have grown by remaining quiet, and people are really astonished, and that's my style. I don't make noise, and
that's wonderful.
That's how.
We
so
were
what's
actually
the
looking
claims
at...
and chest thumping?
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry. No, we were actually looking at the maxfresh.in, Mr. Vishwanath. I mean, that seems such a massive, initiative. And so it looks so cool, right? Farm to table, India. So very cool. And
so
and
thank you.
State now, every city.
Every city in India.
I think in Bombay, in SB Road, and other places.
So we are going to wire it up.
Thank you so much for your
we should,
valuable thoughts and contribution, and especially
Vimal, your audio.
Audio muted.
Definitely achieve. Yeah, sorry. A call came in. I'm quite sure that we will achieve all the realistic figures and go for it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you, Troy. Amit, last few words, if you would please. And
No, nothing. I'm super excited to awaken the rest of the networks that we start connecting to. And what I can guarantee is that because it is the natural market that we are digitizing, there is nowhere that we will not be. It is an optional single click, Apple, Facebook, Google, Amazon, awake, log in. You have to be logged in. That's it. That's all that has to happen in the next 2-3 years.
Thank
and
you.
That's all. You just make money.
Cool.
Good. So it was a very awakening.
So you can. Sorry.
Thank you. We'll cut from this one. Yeah, we can be normal now. We can stop talking like that. Yeah. So thank you, sir. That was very insightful, actually. And that was a very good one. We can actually use this for our other investors.
Okay.
Sure.
No, I mean, yeah.
I just shared my experience, which I have been, and this is nothing. You see, as the old saying, Rome was not built in a day. So this is, as you know, no investor right now will come in with, you see, it is a deficit right now going on. So we are, because this is the call of the day, digital economy. Everything is digitalized. Even the school. That's why I already started the e-learning in Poland. My guys are doing it. And we already not private tenders. We have got government tenders. My company.
So we should connect on that. Sir, we have got a company which is learning management. We just now acquired it actually this last week.
I see.
5 people IIT team.
I see.
It's an IIT team, very nice. And we have already begun to interconnect the Awake piece. So if there is,
I'll look at.
Yeah, we can provide the whole overview. Naveen.
Yeah. Yep.
Expand funding,
Thank
anything.
you.
Yeah.